Sammy here. Good evening and welcome to our tarot astrology reading. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. I feel so blessed to be here. Thank you for being here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 3 deep breaths, and then we're going to do a chant together. And the chant goes Om Namo Gurudev Namo. And the meaning of that chant is that we are honoring the divine and the beautiful teacher that is the universal oneness, and that is within ourselves and in each other, and in our togetherness with each other, and in our quietness with ourselves, and in our connection to the everlasting spirit of love. And when we chant these words, it actually stimulates parts of our body that help us get into a spiritually ecstatic place. So the sounds themselves change the way we feel and make us open and receptive to being at the same frequency of love and happiness and peace. So let's take a few deep breaths and then we'll chant. 1, 2, 3, 2 more times. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. One more time. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Thank you for joining in that chant together. Makes it so much more special and powerful, our sharing that moment together, whether it's right now or whenever you happen to be watching this. So, in case you missed the bowl, you get that too. The moon is still in Virgo, and going into tomorrow, as the moon approaches the end of Virgo and the beginning of Libra, we get a lot of trines happening tomorrow. So tomorrow we have the moon in Virgo trine Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Capricorn. Those are 3 trines that help us to be really grounded and really present and aware of our surroundings and appreciative of all the little things that we get to experience on Earth and the way we use our senses and the way that we can emotionally enjoy our journeys. And Saturn has to do with our fate and our path, and Jupiter has to do with our growth, and Pluto has to do with our transformation from a very deep place. And so the moon in Virgo, trine all of those planets in Capricorn, means that we have the ability to be grounded and sensual and strong and successful in all of those areas, and to do it with a connection to our emotions and our hearts. So it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. And also at the same time, we have the trine between Venus in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces, helping us to tap into our dreams and let them make our ability as people who love and are lovers and give love and share love and receive love, allows all of that to really be blossoming and in connection with our intuition and our dreams. And then there's also a trine between Mercury and Mars, and a trine between the Sun and Mars, Mercury and the Sun in Sagittarius, Mars in Aries, a lot of fire, a lot of the ability to take actions from the core of who we are, and to communicate boldly and directly, and to take actions that are very in line with our true selves. So great day coming up for everybody. And then tomorrow night at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, the moon will move into Libra. So we've had a couple of days, including tomorrow, of a very practical and sensual kind of life. And then we'll have a few days after that where there's a sort of lift and an airiness and a lightness, and we might start to focus a little bit more on ideas and aesthetics and sort of more lofty values of things like that. So that's what we're in for coming up. Now, why don't we pick a card of the day? I love when, like, the little thing, the instruments and everything, like to tap the bowl and make their own sound. They're like, we want to hear the bowl now. I don't care if it's bowl time. We're going to hear it. Okay, little bag. We can hear the bowl whenever you want. This is little bag. Say hi. Okay, you can watch me shuffle now. I know that's why you all came here. It's the most exciting part. Okay, ready? Interesting. The Seven of Swords. What do you see? Do you notice anything? We have here a beautiful witch who has 5 swords that she is holding as she is walking away from a building, and there are 2 swords that are there behind her, and she's looking over her shoulder, kind of. It's an interesting card. It has so many different meanings, and I've actually spent quite a bit of time reading about this card recently to try to better understand it. But it's the suit of air, of intellect, of ideas, and there's an element of an escape almost, and that could be interpreted in different ways. It could be that she is getting away from a certain situation that mentally was not really great, and now she is taking what she can and she's moving on, and she's looking behind her because there's some sort of there's some sort of something unsettled maybe, or a sort of, I don't want to say the word danger, but like a, what's the word? Like a suspense, that the exit from this place has been sort of challenging in a certain way, maybe mentally. So I've heard it interpreted that there are times when we need to sort of make swift or we have to be, what's the word? Not sneaky, but careful movements from a place or from a situation. And it could be, here's what it is that's at the heart of this card. Sometimes we need to be careful in the way we handle certain things because the environment that we were in, there was something with it that wasn't harmonious for us mentally or spiritually. Other times it could be because we aren't communicating, because the question is, is there something that you are afraid to communicate? And is that why you might be taking sort of a swift exit or sort of a side door, in or out of something? Or is it that you're doing that because that's actually what's needed to keep you safe and to take good care of yourself? So either way, it's good to, just to reflect on times of transition and movements to and from a place or a situation, and to be to bring some love to it, because I think that, again, the swords are a very kind of cold suit, like air on its own. It really needs the emotionality and the heart and the love of water, and it needs the groundedness of earth, to balance out the meaning. So I would say, if you're finding yourself feeling like you need to do something sneakily, the question is, how can you bring love to that? How can you ground yourself and be clear about if you're doing it for reasons of care, being careful and protective, and or if there's anything that could be communicated that hasn't been communicated, why it hasn't been. I don't know if that made sense. I hope it did. I'm sorry if that was confusing. I think the Seven of Swords is sort of a confusing card because it represents a sort of confusion. Her body's going in one direction and her head is going in the other. She's still looking back. There's something like these two swords that are still behind her are left behind. So she's not bringing everything. Something is being sort of left in the process. So there is this sort of like indecisiveness to this card. And anytime we're having feelings like that, it's a great opportunity to give ourselves some love, take a moment to pause and breathe and remember our connection to our divine nature, and to seek groundedness and to seek emotional connection. And that usually helps to modify any confusion around this card. And just because this was kind of like a little bit rambling, I'm going to pick another card to go with it before we close out the reading. Okay, so we have here the Nine of Wands. And if you look at them together, there is a sort of similar nature in the fact that they're both sort of standing up and there's a bit of tension. But the Nine of Wands is a lot more straightforward, where you have somebody who is a bit battered, but they're strong, they're standing strong, and they're grounded, and they're in a position of power. And even if they've been fighting, and even if they have some bruises, it's totally fine. They are in a strong position to keep going. So I guess how these cards would go together would be, if you're feeling anything, any pressure, any sense of division in a move you're making, just know that the moment will pass and you will be standing strong no matter what it is you're going through, and that there's lots of energy to continue on and to be standing strong. Thank you for being here tonight. Feels weird to just do 2 cards because we always did 3. You know, should I do one more card? Should I just round it out, have a 3rd card? What do you guys think? Okay, fine. Let's do one more. I just like 3. I just love the number 3. Thank you, my love. Our 3rd card for tonight. The Hermit. So here you have somebody who knows that the source of wisdom is within them, and they have a lot of peace with that. They know how to find what is sacred and to be quiet and still and calm, and to know that all of the answers and all of the strength in the world comes from their own heart, and from the lessons they've learned, and from the wisdom that they already have within them. So you are strong, you are wise, you have everything you need, and moments of confusion are only passing and will ultimately make you a wiser, calmer, stronger person. Okay. We did our 3 cards again. I know. Tried to do the card of the day, but I just like 3. So let's take 3 breaths, and then we'll chant 1 Om and say goodnight. Have a beautiful evening. I'll see you tomorrow.